Doing it for the kids. Ingham County pulls off a socially distanced livestock show. The 2020 wheat variety trial results are in, and Michigan Ag Commodities' Chris Betts has a market update. I'm Janelle Brose, and this is Farm News 5.
Farm News 5 is brought to you by Ford.
Farm workers have filed a complaint in federal court challenging the state's emergency order mandating COVID-19 testing at farms across the state, saying the order is discriminatory against Latinos. The complaint was filed on behalf of farm workers from River Ridge Produce in Sparta and True Blue Processing in Grand Junction. They're asking a judge to overturn the requirement and halt the order while the case plays out in court. Meanwhile, a northern Michigan apple orchard has sued the governor and several state agencies over the state's requirement that employees and customers wear masks. The owners of Frisky Orchards Farm Market in Ellsworth filed the suit. They operate a fruit stand, cafe, bakery, gift shop, and outdoor entertainment area. County fairs and 4-H'ers continue to adapt to the new normal brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic so they can continue to show animals while wearing masks and practicing social distancing. Rather than go digital, the Ingham County Fair Foundation stepped in to help develop and support in-person livestock and small animal shows to give the county's young people the opportunity to showcase their projects.
We really wanted to provide our youth with the opportunity for a little bit of normalcy after this crazy 8 months of the year so far. So we really were taking pride in being able to do something that was live and try to give some normalcy to our kids. We knew that we were going to pivot many months ago, and it was important to be able to do the livestock shows, and we planned and we changed the plan and we changed the plan and we changed the plan about 1 million times, and we finally came up with one that was going to work for us, and we shared it with some other county fairs that were around the same time as us. So it was really difficult, but in the end we had all the right players, all the right partners, and the community really supported us, which was really important.
It was a lot different, the whole social distancing and the mask thing, but I get it because, respecting others. And there's a lot less people this year too.
Organizers credited the resolve of the kids and a buy-in from parents for pulling it off.
I was so proud of how everybody social distanced, how everybody was wearing their masks all week. I was a little bit nervous about it, to be honest, but everybody really stepped up and did the right thing, and I couldn't be more proud of all of our kids and all of their parents, and I just was blown away by the amount of respect that they had for each other and for this event.
We did a big speech at the beginning of this whole thing, and I said, no matter what you believe, can you at least put it on for the kids? And one of the mothers came up to me and she goes, my husband has not worn a mask until this week. And she goes, you sold him. And, he felt that he needed to do something for the kids.
At the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, Michigan State University Extension announced it was canceling all in-person 4-H events until September, leaving a gaping hole in that, in this instance, the Ingham County Fair Foundation stepped in to fill.
The Fair Foundation is the Ingham County Fair's fundraising arm, and they are rock stars. We couldn't have done this without them. They took over the entire financial burden for this event, and they raised almost nearly $20,000 to be able to do this for the kids this year.
Probably the single biggest thanks I can give is the 118 sponsors who donated every penny to hire every judge, every EMT, the vet, paid for all the ribbons, the trophies, everything. We made a decision as a board when the foundation met that we would cover the expenses no matter what. If we got no sponsors whatsoever, we would cover it. And people were worried. They said people aren't going to spend money right now to sponsor. And I said, you're wrong. The community give like you've never seen. And the amount that they give to take care of that is unbelievable.
We have our animals and we don't know what to do with them if we couldn't sell them. It's kind of hard to get buyers, and it's a really nice opportunity at the fair.
If you want a car from a company that's been building them for 115 years, get a Ford. If you want a car with driver assist technology, get a Ford. You're gonna want a Ford.
Michigan farmers making their wheat varietal decisions for the fall can now view results of the 2020 wheat variety trials.
The purpose of doing these trials is to test these different varieties and lines for their performance in various growing conditions at actually about 8 locations scattered across the state. And so what we're doing is we're trying to grow these varieties under different conditions, and we're applying some different management to identify what ones might be the best yielding for growers or for farmers. And one of the things that's important is look at the multi-year data and multi-location data, because that tells you how resilient a variety really is. And you know, there's varieties that are going to spike up and do really well one year and then not so good the next year. You want something that can maintain consistently. You don't have to have the #1 wheat variety every year, but pick something that's in the top 5 every year. Because if you look at the top 5, those yields are up there at about 120 to 125. The bottom 5 are in that 71 to 75 bushel range. So there's a big difference in the yield potential in these varieties. Every year there's always something that's a surprise, whether it's a disease that you weren't thinking about or lodging or whatever. This year, the couple things that happened that was a bit of a surprise, we had very significant lodging pressure at the Deckerville location. And we got really good ratings for these varieties. You'd be walking the field and there would be a variety standing perfectly tall with no lodging at all, right next to the one laying completely flat. So we got really good data. Nobody likes the combine wheat that's laying flat. So look in the variety trial report and look at those ratings, because those are real. And if it's got a 0 or a 1, that means basically it was almost no lodging at all. Those are your varieties you want to go to. And then the other thing that happened is, from a grain quality perspective, we didn't really have any vomitoxin issues or DON. Falling numbers were generally above 260 to 300, so really no sprouting issues. But we did have some stinking smut problems, and there was about 15,000 bushels of wheat rejected up in the thumb area from stinking smut. That's a quality, it's a contaminant in the grain that we just can't have from a milling perspective. So that and the lodging, I guess, were the kind of the 2 surprises that we really had this year.
For the 8th consecutive year, the Michigan Wheat Program has partnered with Michigan State University to have a high management component as part of the research. Those trial plots, located on 7 farms in Michigan, were harvested in July.
We do these, what we call our conventional versus high management study, where we plant all 115 varieties. We plant 6 replications of it. 3 of them get assigned to conventional management, 3 of them get assigned to high management. The conventional management simply get a herbicide for weed control in the spring and 90 pounds of N. That's all it gets, nothing else. The high management gets the same herbicide, the same 90 pounds of N, but in addition it gets a second pass of nitrogen, another 30 units of N, for a total of 120. It gets a fungicide at flowering, and it also gets a fungicide at flag leaf emergence. So those are the 3 things extra that it gets. And there are varieties that respond to that, and there's varieties that don't respond to that. And this year, the range was a response of 12.8 bushel per acre yield increase to the management, and we had one variety that actually had 3.5 bushel yield lower when we added all that high management. So there's a whole range in between, so it's depending on what management you want to do, you need to look at the report and look at what variety you're planting and whether it responds to that management or not.
View the full 2020 wheat variety trials report online or in the August 15th edition of the Michigan Farm News.
Planning for 2019 and beyond? Foster Swift's Ag Law team offers comprehensive legal counsel for farmers and businesses.
The first case of Eastern equine encephalitis for 2020 has been detected in a 2-year-old filly from Clare County. The zoonotic viral disease is one of the most dangerous mosquito-borne diseases in the United States, with a 90% fatality rate among horses that become ill. State veterinarian Dr. Nora Wineland encourages horse owners to take precautions to protect their animals, including vaccinating them against Triple E. And now with the latest on markets, from Michigan Ag Commodities, here's Chris Betts.
Thanks, Janelle. Trade managed to shrug off another bearish WISE report on Wednesday. Corn held technical support at contract lows and has rebounded since, along with beans. The USDA pegged corn yield at 181.8 bushels per acre, which if realized would be a record. The USDA did note that recent storm damage was not accounted for in August report estimates. Bullish ideas for soybeans will have been bolstered by the USDA upping its new crop export estimate. Ideas which have been reinforced this week by an active export wire for Chinese purchases. For more market information, go to michag.com. With Michigan Agricultural Commodities, I'm Chris Betts.
For more news and video, visit MichiganFarmNews.com or the Michigan Farm Bureau channel on YouTube. With Farm News 5, I'm Janelle Brose. Have a great week of farming.